Wasted so much time on people who should've just been ignored. If I slow down now, I'll pump the brakes. What was it all for? What was it all for? What was it all for? I'ma make this shit count up.
Good day, good night all. Shalom, balance, and paradise. I am here in the lab. Got a sea star across the pond. I'll do something a little bit different this time. Sis, please introduce yourself to the listeners then.
Yes, hello everyone. First of all, I want to say it's an honor and I'm so grateful that you've given me this opportunity to interview with you. Okay.
Give
In
thanks.
UK. Okay. What's up, UK? But anyhow, my name is AhaYahs artist. I also go by Sister Jules, Latasha Edmond, or Queen Lioness. I know there's a lot to kind of like remember, but it's whatever you feel like calling me. I don't mind. Okay. And that's who I am. I'm normal artist, and I am from, believe it or not, I'm from Wichita, Kansas, but I do live in Atlanta, Georgia.
In that A. Okay.
Yes, in the A. Yes, I've been in Atlanta for about how many years? About 13 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Wichita, Kansas was the original spot. So most of your kinfolk are still up that way, or?
Well, to be honest with you, my dad is from Compton, California. My mom is from Wichita, Kansas, but like my grandmother and my family, they're either from Arkansas, Oklahoma, Baltimore, California.
Well.
Yeah, so they just migrated to Wichita, Kansas.
Okay. So let me just give the siblings them and listeners a little bit of an overview of a little snapshot, because this talented sea star right here is doing it all at the moment. She's doing it all.
Oh,
These
praise.
creative wise, the grills.
Yes.
That's one of the
Yes.
first things I started seeing you doing. Obviously, and you had your little art, you doing your artwork and all that, and all kind of clothing and accessories, and it's not the usual. It's a very cultural appropriate, should we say? Bringing back that classic flavor.
Yes. Yes. So basically, what got me started was, I've always felt, of course, different. I've always had just different style to myself. Believe it or not, now that I look back, everything has lined up the way that the Most High planned it for me. Okay. Meaning in college, I didn't really want to do nothing. I wanted to do the easy thing. I wanted to do art. I mean, I know I can pass with art now. Come on, who can't pass with art? I'm just trying to get a degree. So, but I didn't know. I didn't know. So then, some years down the line, had children. And stumbled across. I wanted some earrings. I wanted some earrings to make a statement. And so, I started purchasing certain earrings with other people, and it just wasn't what I wanted. You get what I'm saying? So, my first pair of earrings was so ugly. So ugly. You hear me? It was like, who in the hell did that? My second pair of earrings was so ugly. So, I said, you know what? Maybe I'm doing the wrong thing here, right? So I say, guess what? I got to get better. I got to do something. So I went and prayed about it. I'm serious. Literally went and prayed about it. This is why I say the Most High first in anything you do, and He will direct your path.
Yes.
I prayed about it. That third pair of earrings was fire.
Divinely inspired.
Yes. So it all started with the earrings, with me painting the earrings.
Okay, then let's rewind a little some, because your journey, since you've touched on that there. So growing up, Denominational wise, where was we growing up?
Yes, Baptist.
Baptist hardcore. Okay.
So every Sunday, grandma had me in church. Me and my family in church. Believe it or not, I grew up in a background where my grandparents had a group, and they were called the Pearly Gates. And every Saturday, I couldn't wait for Saturday to come because I knew it was going to be a whole bunch of people coming over at the house, right? And I knew that they were going to have like their microphones out, their amp out,
Mm.
and they will sing to the Lord, and they will sing to the Lord, and they will be what is it? Have harmony,
Yes.
and, that old spiritual singing. And
Mm.
my grandparents, my grandpa could sing, my grandmother could sing, and I'm just a little girl just looking at that. Couldn't wait to every Saturday.
Yes.
So, you know, in the long run, make a long story short, my grandparents, they needed a drum player, and they didn't know at the age of 13 I was learning how to play the drums by another woman
Mm.
in church. Yeah, so I can play the drums. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but I can play the drums like Sheila E. I am a beast on the drum.
Ah.
Yeah. So my grandmother took my word because the drum player just fell off the earth. They got the guitar player. I'm the youngest one. And I'm like, Grandma, I can play the drums for you guys. So
Mm.
she looking at me like, girl, don't play with me. She said, if you can play the drums for us, I'm going to go purchase you a pair of drums and we're going to see what you can do. Do you know, I didn't even practice. She didn't even see me play the drums or anything. And she said, come be here Saturday.
Mhm.
So I go to my grandparents' spot, and everybody's there. They're getting ready to sing with their microphone, and it's this a beautiful white pair of drums, right? And so you won't believe it. Okay, my grandmother said, "Sit down. Let's see what you got." Okay, and they turned on the first song, because they could sing,
Yes.
and my grandmother and everybody smiled from ear to ear, and I was the youngest. I was the youngest drum player out of all of them. And yeah, so my grandpa, he just passed away. He was 95 years old. He passed away 2 years ago.
Rise in
So
paradise.
yeah, so everybody's gone except for me.
The last one left.
Yeah, the last one left. And we
Mm.
traveled around the world at a young age, I did.
Okay, performing, doing
Yeah, yep, performing, playing the
e-
drums. Yeah.
excellent. So what
Yeah.
did you manage to get to the UK?
Oh, I would love to come to the UK. You know what the crazy thing? I said, because I went to go see Erica Badu last night, right?
Hmm.
I said, oh, only if she knew I could play the drums, I would love to play the drums for her. But that drum player she had was a beast, boy.
Mm.
He was a beast for real.
Where are you? What state in Texas are you currently in?
I am in Frisco, Texas. Actually, Little M. So right now, that's where we're at until Wednesday. We're heading back
Okay.
to Atlanta. Yeah.
And how are you finding Texas, the great state of Texas? They welcome you with open arms.
Oh, let me tell you, my husband is from Texas, born and raised from Texas.
Hmm.
And I lived in Texas before I moved to Georgia. So I love Texas. I love Texas. Listen, except for the culture, I don't see a lot of us. But it's beautiful. I love everyone.
Hmm.
They keep the state up pretty well. Georgia, you see, of course, a lot of us,
Yes.
and so it's a different vibe.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you are looking for peace of mind, come to Texas.
Of course. Of
If you're looking,
course.
yeah, if you're looking, well, I need a peace of mind always. But if
Hmm.
you're looking for Not a peace of mind. Come to Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah. Well, saying that, sis, no, I totally get your point, but you can go to like
Yeah.
what, Macon, Georgia, get a bit of
Yes.
peace of mind.
Yes. Yes. See, those places you can go, but don't come to Atlanta and think you're gonna get a peace of mind.
Exactly. None of them zones.
Yeah. Yeah,
Most
boy.
deaf.
Lord have mercy. I've been
Mm,
through a lot of things, especially seen a lot of things. You just wouldn't believe it. So, but yeah, come figure out if you want a peace of mind or you want to be like, okay, see some things.
indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
So in the vein of that spiritual path, how did
Yes.
that develop to where you are today? What got you from being a Baptist
To a Hebrew
into
Israelite.
indeed?
Okay. So this is a good story. You won't believe this. Um, let's go. Let me tell you how good the Most High been. Do you know? Now I've had like an angel by my side, literally in real life. And um, rest in peace to Reverend Lewis. He was one of my angels. When I needed a ride to school, he was there.
Mm,
Um, if my car stopped, he was there. Um, and he always told me good things and taught me scriptures and stuff like that, right?
mhm,
Took me to church. I was his favorite out of all the children, okay? Um, now, when I came to Georgia, right? My husband, his brother needed a place to stay. And his brother had a baby with this lady, and she told him, you won't believe this. She told him she could not see his baby unless he gets into the truth. And as us, we're like, what is she talking about? Like,
Wanna?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, why would you put that in front of a man seeing his child? Right? Right?
Mm,
But everything happens for a reason. It had to happen like that in order for me to listen because I was hard headed.
mhm,
I I drank, I smoked, I still calling on, Jesus's name and
mhm.
asking for forgiveness and go out there and do it just what I want to do. That's what
Yes.
we taught in church. You can still ask for forgiveness anytime, you
Mhm.
know. So you won't believe this. So I guess Solomon got into the truth, start looking at videos like Gathering of Christ Church,
Yes.
um, IUIC, just stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it really stuck to him. And my husband, so the younger brother is Solomon, my husband is Regis. They call him Rawa Allah. And he goes to my husband and say, look, man, you need to look at this, right?
Yeah.
So they're watching this and watching this. And then I go out, I go play poker, I come back home, little tipsy, little drunk,
Mhm.
go outside, smoke, whatever, I'm smoking on. And,
Yep.
and so you won't believe this for real. So I come inside and they're just looking at me, talking about, and it took Solomon. You know what he used to say to me all the time? He used to say to me, plain and simple. And it sounds kind of mean at the moment, but he used to tell me, look at me in my face and say, you're going straight to hell. And
Wanna.
as yeah, yeah, hold on. I know that sounds crazy, right?
Harsh.
Yeah, it was harsh, but it needed to be done.
Yeah.
He said, you're going straight to hell. He said, and me, I'm looking at my husband like, dude, you're gonna let your brother talk to me like this? What is going on with y'all? So it was like an attack on me inside the house, right?
Yeah.
I'm cussing him out. He's telling me you're going to hell, even with all your cussing me out, And I'm like, listen, let me go outside. Let me smoke me a cigarette. Forget what they talking about. So I just started coming in the house, and they were watching it. And I every time they watch, the gathering of Christ Church, I cuss them out. I cuss them out.
Oh,
Turn
yeah.
this shit off my TV.
Yeah.
You guys telling me I'm going to hell. Look at y'all.
Mm, mm.
And then he's telling me, well, his name is not Jesus.
No
You can't
J's.
tell me. Yeah, you cannot tell me his name ain't Jesus. Y'all going to hell. Somebody's going to hell in this job.
Mm.
So, make a long story short, you won't believe this. So, it got to the point where, I was a life insurance agent then. I used to go out and knock on doors at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been in the game. I go knock on doors on my own by myself and sign people up for life insurance. So I come home and it got to the point where when I come home, they don't want to hear my voice. They turned it off. They were like into it, binge watching it. And
Ah.
yeah, and so one day, the Most High, when I came home from the life insurance, knocking on doors, I was just so exhausted. He made me go to sleep, right? And they turned it on. And I could just hear it playing in the background, right?
Right. Yes.
So the next day, you know, I did the same thing. He made me so exhausted and I went to sleep and it was just playing in the background. They turned it on. Then the third day, I went out, came back home, and I went into a deep sleep. And you will not believe what happened here. Okay. This is what changed my life. So my husband and his brother turns it on. And while I was sleeping, it was going into my soul.
Mm.
Okay. The good, the peace, the love of Christ was going into my soul. And it was a beautiful day in my dream. Okay. It was just like this outside here in Atlanta. It was the most beautifulest day in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
You will not believe what I heard. Shook me. It was the Most High. And let me tell you, he said these words. He said, I am cutting you off. You have till Wednesday. Plain and simple. Shook me and woke me up. I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And so he was talking about, I'm trying to tell you something,
In.
child,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're being disobedient. And now I'm going to give you a time frame. If you do not listen to who I am, I'm cutting you off Wednesday. I didn't even have to wait till Wednesday. It took me that same very moment. You won't believe it, okay? Um, I go, they heard me wake up and I'm going into the front room and I see Saul looking at my husband and my husband looking at him. And they're getting ready to grab the TV because they didn't want to hear me cussing and fussing. So
Yes.
I was just out of order. I was out of order. And I said, no, please don't turn it off. I said, do not turn it off. And they looked. I said, I would like to learn from you all. I said, I apologize. I love you all. And I want to know what you know.
Mm-hmm.
That very moment changed my life.
What was the year, sis?
It was a miracle. It was like you should have seen their eyes. They just it's almost like they were dealing with a they were dealing with a demon, a irate demon
Mm.
that has got calmed down and casted out. It was like, what the
Mm-hmm.
heck happened when you went in that room? The
He
most
says,
I was
what year did this take place?
this was I've been now in the truth for 8 years. So this was
Okay.
8 years ago. Yeah. Yeah, eight
Mm.
years ago. So yeah, it still took me some time to, change in certain areas because it
Yes.
didn't happen overnight,
I mean, it never does. Nothing happens
Yeah,
overnight.
yeah. So, and then, after me learning the truth, I had to purge those demons out of me, wanting a cigarette, wanting a drink all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Mm-hmm.
hard. It was
Mm-hmm.
hard.
Mm.
And the Most High almost took my life after learning the truth and still trying to do what I want to do.
Yeah. Trying to
He,
juggle the two together.
yeah, and he said no, no, and he gave me another chance, another chance, and he set me free from those things.
Give thanks. Give thanks.
Yes, Yes. All
Well,
praises.
exactly. It's well, was there one particular scripture breakdown that kind of made you think, well, wait a minute, I remember that being taught that, but I wasn't taught it that way.
Yeah, so a lot of scriptures where it says Christ is gonna come back. Well, Christ is coming back.
Yeah.
Most of us think that Christ is gonna come back and just, take us in. But I was never taught that. Well, I was taught that in church, like Christ is gonna come back and we're gonna go to heaven. No. I was taught that every Sunday in church.
Yeah.
Christ is coming back, but in the Bibles it says Christ is coming back for war
With a sword.
with a sword. Yeah, so that's one of them. Another one is where it says that we were taught in church that God loves everyone. I know this
Oh,
sounds funny, y'all.
I know.
That God loves everyone, but some people he just don't deal with.
Hmm.
So I couldn't believe it. But he gives you the opportunity to come in
Exactly.
to him. So and I was taught that, God was always nice and stuff, but the most high could be mean too. The most high can be fierce. The most
Mm,
high can be he said, fear me.
yes.
So it's not what you think. It's almost like, to me, your dad. Your dad, he loves you, right?
Exactly. Excellent analogy.
Yes. And your dad tell you, okay, don't do this. And you go do it. Oh man, and you come back and you got to face the wrath.
Hmm. Hmm.
You don't want to whoop him by dad. You might want to whoop him by mama, but not dad.
Not
Don't get
daddy.
dad in it.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah, don't
indeed.
get dad in it.
Yes.
So
For,
yeah,
similar for myself. I mean, I think those elements. I was raised a Roman Catholic, so it was a lot
okay.
of saint worship and that kind of interesting
Yeah,
stuff. So, in relation to, as I say, as a young impressionable child, a second generation, well, quote unquote third generation West Indian in the UK.
yes,
For me, I'm being innocent. I knew color as a youngster, but I didn't
yes,
see as like I could see the differences, but to me there was no difference. And then, as I say, from a religious standpoint, there was no color in the Bible outside of the obvious white
exactly.
people. So I'm thinking Yeshua
Exactly.
HaMashiach is, he's a
Yeah.
Caucasian, Paul, all of the saints,
Oh,
and
yes.
they didn't tell us any of those earlier
They
scriptures. So
did.
I'm black and comely, King Solomon,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. All
dark as
that.
the tents of Kedar.
They
I'm like,
are.
what?
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
was the connection. So that made me think, well, wait a minute. Well, then your logical hat comes on and you think, well, wait a minute. Well, if Israel is like the continent of Africa and it's back
Right.
then, they would all be brown like me and different shades of
Exactly.
brown.
Oh, wow. Wow. So oh my goodness. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
So
Mhm.
the puzzles start to
Wow.
come together, form the bigger picture, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, Deuteronomy 28:68. Oh,
Oh, yes.
Psalms 91. We will change the faces of Israel so they'll be no longer more in remembrance.
Yes.
Oh, so, oh, wait a
Yeah.
minute. So you've got Negro, colored, black, African American. Oh, so they're constantly changing the names of the the
Exactly.
the children and the siblings of the prisoners of war. I hate to use the word slave because our foreparents were
Exactly.
prisoners of war. Yeah. Over
Exactly.
over here, we were called West Indians, then we were called Caribbeans, then we were called black. Now it's Black British. The
Really? Oh my
ev
God. Yeah, it is. It is. Yep.
yes. So we
Yep.
so
Black
and you
people.
think and then you think this,
Hmm.
who are the
Exactly.
people on this plane of existence that the Most High created? Has their name changed every 10 or 20 years? Hmm.
Exactly. Wow.
So it
Wow,
starts to make sense. As I
it
say, the
makes sense.
picture starts to build, and you think, oh, as a teenager, you would shun the Bible, and you would look, I was
Yeah,
raised on that stuff, and there were some good qualities, but that's the
yeah,
white man's. I'll leave that kind of thing. But that you get
yeah.
wisdom, you have
You get wisdom.
experiences, and you start
Yeah,
to draw back on that old knowledge with a new mind and think, oh no, no, this is our book. He only left you basic instructions before leaving with F.
base. Yep, Bible.
This is it. This is
That's
it.
it. That's it. Yeah. So it just I'm I'm grateful that my soul was willing to listen. You hear what I'm
Mhm.
saying? My soul
Yes.
in my flesh was because we battle all the time, and not everybody can get a a what is it called? Um
This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the broadcast.